Hi everybody, it's Jennifer from blazingwanderers.com, and while I am sitting in our partially finished van, this video is going to focus on the first of several steps that are part of fitting and installing the walls that you see behind me. We're going to focus on two things: the use of a structural steel assembly from Titan Vans, and then the second thing that we'll go through is how we basically fitted the wall panel behind us here with the flare and trim rings as part of our first steps. And hopefully this will be helpful for you if you're doing the same in your van. We ordered our wall and ceiling kit from ABC Rig, and this is where we also purchased our flooring system that we discussed in an earlier video, so I encourage you to check that one out. The crate that they shipped the wall kit in was also quite useful. We cut this down to make burring strips for our ceiling and wall panels, and later on use the top and bottom of the box to create a shop table where we could do some additional finishing work in our garage.
What I'm doing right now is installing wall panels. You can see I got the ceiling panels in. I'm using from Titan Vans a structural steel kit. You can see normally if you were to run the walls where the wall would end up, the structural steel allows you to bump this out. You can see I have this riveted up here along this edge, and I'm able to get a very consistent gap in between the ceiling plywood and the structural steel. And then down here you can see I'm able to keep a very nice gap then when I'm running that up against this edge. So there's an angle here the ceiling hits flat against. Otherwise you'll end up with waviness where these high points are for the beams across versus in between you'll see waves. Whereas if you use a structural steel, you don't have those waves, and you're also able to bump this out back from the wall. What I'm doing now though, it's kind of hard to probably see this, I have my flare trim from Flare Space. What would fit in over here. I've got the wall up, and then what I've done is I've measured to the center of the edge of the trim. And you can see my drill sticking through, so that's sticking through the plywood and through the fiberglass. I've covered the floor that we've put in, and I measured from the side over as 5.5, from the top down was 19 3/4, over from the pillar was 41.5, and 30.5 from the bottom. And then I've marked those holes from the bottom up and from the side, top, and the edge. And then I'm going to put screws into this so that I'm screwing not only through the wall but also through the trim ring, and then that will allow me to attach the trim ring to the wall. And then I'm going to cut a hole using a circular a hole saw drill bit, and then I'm going to use a router then to go around the edge of this to be able to create my matched opening for the wall and matched up with the trim ring from Flare Space. All right, this is a picture of the trim ring attached to the back of the wall panel. I just have 4 screws in, and I'm going to cut a hole with a hole saw. It will allow me to get a router bit then that'll allow me to follow this edge using a router bit.
Here that we ultimately were able to finish out our wall panels with our flare and trim rings. And I also want to point out again the use of the structural steel up here in the corner. It gives a really nice clean fit and finish between the ceiling and wall panels, and we're really happy with how that turned out. Watch out for our next videos as we move along to discuss some of our approaches that we've used in terms of line detachments and fitting our wall ceiling panels coming up soon.